letting your heart break if it needs to, letting go of the hurt, letting go of the anger, letting go of all of those things to show up 100% for the next person.
So do you believe that since, a lot of the men, like in Tank's case, he doesn't feel like he should be vulnerable with the next person because of what his past experiences has been? You don't feel like he's truly healed from being quote unquote betrayed by that person he was vulnerable with? That's what I'm hearing. What do you think?
That's absolutely what I'm saying. Because if Tina did it,
Mm-hmm.
Tina is the problem. Sharon should not pay for what Tina did, because Sharon and Tina are two totally different people. So if you still dealing with Tina's mess and Tina's hurt that she caused, you need to figure that out before you start dealing with Sharon, because it is not going to be fair to Sharon. Because if Sharon is coming into the relationship healed, whole, and ready to go all in, and you're coming in at 20%, that's not fair. Just don't do it. And I think it's just some people they just take all of that hurt, take all of that pain, push it down, but it's going to manifest in that new relationship in one way, shape, or form. So why do that to another person?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It
So
happens.
go ahead. I
No,
wanted
I'm
to
saying it
say
happens.
if do you feel like men have more baggage than women? Since he said
No,
men
it's
heal
50-50.
differently. No, I'm serious.
No,
You
it's
said that
50-50.
men
No,
heal differently than women. So is it safe to say that men may have more baggage than women because
no.
they just cope and they don't really heal from like past situations, whereas women, we tend to like take some time to ourselves. We tend to like heal. Sometimes we do, but most of the time, we tend to heal from that first heartbreak. But I feel like we do give the next person a chance. So what are your thoughts, Tank? Do you feel like women or men, who has the most baggage?
It's balanced. Everybody's different. So I wouldn't. That's like saying men cheat more than women. Well, we know that's a lie.
Prove it. Prove it's not a lie.
Exactly. Just like you can't
Prove
prove
it's a
that
lie.
either one has more baggage. No, but there are some people here that believe that women don't cheat. That's a shit. You better get in the real world. I think it's about the same amount of men cheat as women. It's just men are dumber about the way we cheat, the way they cheat. I don't cheat. 'Cause I'm single, so yeah.
Hmm.
I think when you start throwing out words like healing,
Mm-hmm.
coping, baggage, those are all the wrong words. The word is trauma, right? Because trauma is not just
Gender
you
based.
got right. It's not just, oh, you got in a bad car accident and almost died, or you watched somebody get shot in front of you, or so. It's trauma runs the gamut. Trauma can be emotional, trauma can be mental, trauma can be physical, trauma can be sexual. Trauma comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. So if you have unresolved and unhealed trauma, you are not going to be able to successfully have a relationship, because that trauma is going to manifest in some way, shape, or form that will affect your relationship in an adverse manner.
Let me interject. I think how y'all said last week that the word toxic is overused. Trauma is another fucking word is overused because um
So
people are like,
trauma is actually
let me
underused.
finish. Let me finish. If a man doesn't want to settle down, some people are like, oh, you got trauma. No, I'm at a point in life that I don't want to settle down right now. I don't mean that I'm hurt by something. I don't give two F's about how you feeling right now. I'm doing me. Either you can stay here or you can leave. It's not trauma. It's the fact that I've been in situations that I don't want to be in anymore. So that's not trauma. Just I don't want to be. I don't want to settle down. So some people consider that trauma. Oh, you got trauma? No,
I,
I ain't trauma. I don't want to be with you.
well, that is a form of some trauma. Okay.
How?
And that goes back to what she was saying. Are you fully healed? I understand you may not want to be with that particular person, but are you just shutting everyone out when you say that I just don't want to deal with this again? When you say this, are you referring to like the relationship
Yeah, if
Uh,
I don't want to settle down and be in a monogamous relationship, that doesn't mean that I'm dealing with trauma. No, it's just I don't want to be monogamous with you.
but what would you say
Uh,
brought you to that point?
okay, I'm gonna ask you.
Trauma.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
I was gonna
You
say that
trying to
trauma or
listen?
none.
Listen.
Tomato
In my
silly.
life, in
Mm-hmm.
my life, I don't know a man that can say he is monogamous or been monogamous his whole life. No, it's like that's what we see. Like Coach Sean said last week for last. That's all we've seen growing up. So it's like, shit. Why I'm gonna settle for one when I can have all these others? And it's like now in society, a single man, you have so many options. It's like, why I'm gonna settle down with you when I can have all 70 of y'all? Why I'm gonna settle down with you?
And that's fine. And I agree with you that that doesn't not monogamy is not synonymous
Natural.
to trauma,
Yeah.
right? But it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's that there's not. That's not the link, right? What I'm saying is, if you choose not to subscribe to monogamy, you can
Mm-hmm.
do so trauma free, trauma filled, don't matter. That's you not subscribing to monogamy. What we are
Mm-hmm.
talking about is unresolved and unhealed trauma that will cause you to do certain things because of that unhealed and unresolved trauma. And a lot of people, because trauma is really an underused word, because a lot of people do not call it what it is. It's a trauma. They will say, "Oh, well, you just got hurt," or "Oh, you just this." Oh, they'll make it everything except for what it is. It is a traumatic experience. If you go in the dictionary right now and look up the word trauma, you will probably be able to fit half of your day into that definition, because trauma can come big, small, medium. Like I said, it comes in many different shapes. You can have a huge trauma that affects your life for the rest of your life. You can have a small trauma that you're able to move past and move through in a day or two. So what I'm saying is that I don't think that your trauma, a person's trauma, defines whether or not it can define whether they want to subscribe to monogamy or not. But I don't think the trauma would be the sole reason if they were to make that decision, because there are some people who are not totally, but very healed, have done the work, are managing their trauma very well, and do not want to be monogamous. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So I think Coach Sean was asking, he would like one to define healing. And you want Webster's definition of healing? Because I would say that healing is you're whole. Your mind, your body, everything is just completely whole. You've released all the, like she said, trauma, all the hurt, all the disappointments. That's, to me, that's healing. Well, that's my definition of healing. To be free from all those things that are holding you back.
You're absolutely right. And if you just want to go with the Webster's dictionary, it says the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again.
So yeah, so that would be to rid oneself of all the trauma we've experienced in our life. What do you say, Tank? Would you
Well,
agree?
it's hard to rid yourself of trauma, right? Trauma
It
is
is.
something that has to be managed. Trauma does not go away because you can't unsee, you can't unhear, you can't undo any of that. And if you've had a trauma, that trauma comes with triggers, and you cannot avoid the triggers. As long as you're living and breathing, something's probably going to trigger you. So trauma is something that has to be managed. Trauma does not, and healing is part. Your healing is a continuous thing. It's not something that you can say, "Oh, well, I'm healed in 30 days." That's not how it works. Because at the end of the day, healing is a lifetime process once you have experienced trauma.
I'm gonna be in healing mode the rest of my life.
Yeah, and I think all of us are. I don't think no one is like 100% going to be completely healed. Because like she said, there are things that I think PTSD from relationship is a real thing, because there are triggers and I think we all have them. So no one can honestly be completely healed going into, a new situation. We can manage it. Like you said, we can manage it better and not try to allow those triggers to affect our current situation. But maybe there is no such thing as true healing, you know?
And
Koshan?
I think the honesty comes with that too, Shar. Like you have to let your new partner know, hey,
Hmm.
this is what I've been through, and this is, a trigger for me. So if this happens, and you have to set those boundaries, that boundary, okay, then you move on. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to just understand that it's gonna continue, it's gonna happen again, because again, in order to be in relationship with someone, you have to be a healthy relationship. You have to be vulnerable. You have to know that that person is gonna have the ability to hurt you. They're not perfect, so you're not perfect. So something may happen at one point in time where they can actually hurt you. But unconditional love is what keeps relationships together. A lot of people don't love unconditionally. It is very conditional, which makes it so easy to just say, I'm done, I'm gone, and I'm going to walk away because I don't want to put in the work that it's going to take to overcome whatever this bad thing or whatever this is that happened.
Okay.
What do y'all think about this quote?
Okay.
Because I thought about it when you said it. It says, "Truth is, everybody's going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for."
I've heard that
Absolutely.
quote. Absolutely. You have to see who's
Absolutely.
worth it.
Bob
If you
Marley.
take a couple, if you
Bob
take a
Marley.
couple who has been married or in whatever for 30 years, 50 years, you sit down and talk to those two people, and I guarantee you that man and that woman gonna tell you that they have been through the ringer. They have been hurt. There has been infidelities. There have been all kind of stuff, ups, downs, ins and outs. But they're still there because that love is unconditional. And like that quote just said, they're worth going through that hurt with that person. They're gonna
Yeah.
hurt you again. So if that person is not worth it, then yeah, you should probably just move on.
Hmm.
Because there's not a human being on this earth that's not going to hurt you. That's your children, that's your parents, that's your siblings, your cousins, your teacher, whoever. Because humans are just gonna be
Yeah.
humans.
Hurt and disappointment, the same thing.
Koshan, would you like to add anything?
You want something to eat, Dario? Want something to eat? You want something to eat?
Really, Tank?
Huh? And I was talking to my son. Sorry with it.
Are you speaking? Okay. If you're speaking, we
Now,
can
what you
we
said?
can't hear anything right now.
I see we've had some people join the room. Craig, hi.
You talk here,
William
Kosha.
Bush, hello. Miss Jackson, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your comment. She said, I love that quote. And definitely feel free to enter questions or your thoughts in the chat so you can engage with us as well.
Okay. I think we have Tricky Nikki back on the panel. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you now.
Hello. Can
Hello.
y'all
Can you
hear
hear?
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
How are you? Sorry, my mic wasn't working earlier.
We're doing fine. How are you today?
I'm just great.
That's great. Were you able to hear the conversation? Well, the discussion that we
No,
were having.
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay. So one of the questions that was asked by Coach Sean, he just kind of wanted to know, well, he wanted you to define healing. Like, what would be your definition of being fully healed?
Um, Me personally, when there is no bitterness, I think I went through a point in life where, you know, the individual I felt that did me, hurted me, didn't want to see him, wouldn't even hold a conversation. And based on that situation, I would feel like healing is, when you can see them, you don't get any ill feelings. If they speak, they speak. I mean, like, it's over. Like, you're to the point of numb. That person doesn't, nothing about that person bothers you anymore. Hello?
Yes. Okay. So I feel like that, that's part of the process. But as we were kind of discussing earlier, that we feel like there's no true healing. We just become better copers, in my opinion. So I think that's kind of like what Savannah was speaking of. I can barely hear your noise in the background. Let's see. So do you feel like, so with your situation, do you feel like, I know you said that you don't feel anything when you see him. Do you feel like you're just coping with that situation a little better than before?
No, no, I feel like I'm over it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm done. I mean, nothing about it. No funny feeling, no madness, ain't nothing to cope, no reason to cope.
Okay.
I mean, it's really, I feel like I'm healed.
Okay. And do you feel like that previous relationship hindered your other relationships?
Um, no, not to think, maybe the trust part, it taught me to do some things differently. I would say that. But as far as about,
I think we lost.
Okay, I think we lost we lost one of our guests. Oh, come back.
hello,
Come back.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you now.
In and out.
So today we were technically supposed to discuss tips for men on understanding women's perspective. So, with that being said, Tank, you're up because I think
No.
You said I'm up. Where we at? Him? Hello? Yeah. Hello?
yes, I'm here. But that was supposed to be the topic, but to continue this discussion about trauma, healing, getting to the root cause of, being single and not wanting to like move forward with anyone. Mhm. Now, do any of our listeners have any questions that they would like to ask the panel at this moment? Okay, so we have a question. The question is basically, guys, what's your healing process?
That's a quick one. I got a quick answer.
Therapy,
I'll,
therapy, therapy, and more therapy.
okay,
I
so
would
I'm going
have
to
to
ask you a
second that
question.
as well. I went to therapy for like 2 months and it helped a lot because I didn't realize I was holding on to a lot of trauma that was holding me back.
Yeah, I do. I go every 2 weeks, and I've been doing that for the
I think it was on
past
Pastor Bay.
4 years.
hmm And I actually have
So
like
I have an honest
I
question.
have an appointment scheduled. I'm starting back to therapy because there are a lot of things that have happened since the last time I was, going daily. I was going like 4 days a week. Seriously, that's how bad it was. So now I will be going probably twice a month, maybe, because a lot of things have happened since then. And I feel like I still honestly have not mastered what we would so call a healing process because things that I thought I was 100% healed from, I realized that I'm not. So I think it's going to be, it's a daily struggle. And like I think you mentioned like a couple of weeks ago, Savannah, you actually got to put the work in. Although you have these tools, if you're not putting in the work, then I feel like you're going to regress. So that's pretty much what I use, Miss Jackson. We hope that answered your question.
Yeah, you're right. It is a continuous thing, and the tool. You're right. The tools are there, but the work is the most important, and you have to do that work daily. It is consistency that matters with that healing.
Because it's very easy. And I learned that the hard way. And when my therapist told me, she was like, when you get back into the room, it's going to be harder to, follow those tools daily. Like when you're there in this program, that's like a safe haven. However, when you're in the real world is not a safe haven because you have all these other triggers that are happening, all these things, life in general. And sometimes it's hard to, in that moment, it's hard to utilize those tools. And like I said, I've regressed. I've regressed a few times since, my last appointment. So I feel like I know some black men are against therapy, but I really honestly think therapy should start at a very young age. I feel like everyone should know how to express themselves and how to process things that are happening. And I feel like, from elementary school up until well into adulthood, everybody needs some type of therapy. That's just my
So
opinion.
I got a question.
Okay. I have an answer.
Can I hear me?
I can hear you. Mhm.
I can hear you.
Okay. So people oh, you should go.
I would like to interject. I'm sorry, but I didn't quite catch what you said. Can you repeat your question?
No. All right. So what I'm saying is, I'm thinking delayed. I'm talking, and then y'all come back minutes, seconds later. Is it delayed?
You sound a little robotic. It's a little feedback. It's kind of going in and out a little bit.
So, question is, people say, "Oh, you should go to therapy. You should go to counseling." Anyone who knows black men, we're not the ones to go sit there and just pour our hearts out. So, as a person who wants to go to counseling and therapy, what do I tell the therapist or counselor or whoever? What do I present to them?
Whatever you're feeling. It's not that you have to go in there with a set thing. Just it's a conversation that you're having, a
Let me tell you
conversation
how I
about
feel.
you and your
But I
problems.
feel perfectly fine. Usually, how I feel, perfectly fine.
Okay, so why
Like,
would you feel perfectly fine?
why wouldn't I? I'm breathing.
Hmm.
I'm taking care of my responsibilities. I got a job. I got a career. Like,
Okay.
do what I want to do. Like,
Hmm.
but
Well,
people who, when I don't conform to their ways of, don't do it. Oh, you need counseling, you need therapy. Why? I'm fine. What I'm doing isn't hurting me. Might be hurting you, but it's not hurting me. So why am I going to counseling? Why should I go to therapy?
Are you okay with hurting other people?
It's not intentional. That's not like intentionally hurt people.
hmm well, that's a
You
reason why
you
you
do
can go to
realize
counseling.
that,
Then.
right? That's a good
Hmm.
reason right there.
Why
Because
do I
if
hurt other
you're
people?
unintentionally hurting people, you might need to figure out why
Why?
that is,
Hmm.
and you might need to figure out what's causing you to do that.
Yeah, if I just be monogamous, then they wouldn't be hurt. But why? Like,
Okay. And that's something you can ask your therapist. Why do I feel like I can't be monogamous? If you feel like
you
that is
gonna
the
say
thing that's
it
hurting,
ain't natural
it's not natural.
because you
Okay.
don't want to. It
Okay,
ain't
there you
natural.
go, because you don't want to. Don't say it's not natural, because
It's not natural. No,
anything
no,
that
no,
we want can
no,
be
no,
done.
no, no, no. That ain't
Anything in
natural.
life that you want to do can be done with discipline,
Define it.
determination.
No, the
It can
question
be
is
done.
natural.
No one said okay, no one said it's not going to be tough, but what isn't tough? What in life isn't tough? So if you feel like your actions are hurting other people, that is something that you could talk about. Nobody's going to tell you that you're right. Nobody's going to tell you that you're wrong. You're just talking about it. You're putting it out there.
I want I want to chime in,
Right.
and I guess the question was: everyone needs a therapist. Was that was
Well, the
that the
question was, what was your
topic?
healing process?
Prayer,
Yeah, that was the question.
yeah, prayer. Because I've been to therapy, and it seems like I'm telling them all my problems, and really, I think I had all my answers. The therapist pretty much told me everything that I had already knew. So I disagree with the therapist. I think everyone doesn't need a therapist. Everyone just need to know how to handle their situation. And a lot of times people know what they need to do, but they want to go to somebody else to see if they're going to differ or
Hmm.
give them a different result.
Mm-hmm.
That's personally me.
So I feel like the therapist, for those people that don't understand how to process certain things, the therapist teaches you how to process. The therapist is not fixing you. The therapist is just offering you resources. So you're technically fixing yourself. So it's not, and a lot of time there's this stigma with black people in general that we just refuse to like seek help. We just refuse to do it for whatever reason. And we do, like you said, you like to pray. You know, it's the same thing. If you're getting these tools, what's wrong with getting them from a professional who's just offering? They're not trying to fix you, they're just offering. And it's just to help you because your work, like she said, it's a constant, it's a daily thing that you actually have to do the work. So you're actually healing from the inside. And it's just like she said, like Miss Jackson, you can speak, for yourself, Miss Jackson. And I think you chimed in because you had I guess a comment that you wanted to make. So I'm gonna mute myself for a second and I'm gonna let you speak.
So I just noticed that I don't think therapy's for everyone, but it's just another resource. I mean, the example I use, I can do my own hair, but my stylist does it better because that's what, their certification. Sometimes you need that extra expertise just to push you along and help you through.
I can't hear nobody.
Can you all not hear me?
I can hear you a little bit, but it's kind of low. Are you on an iPhone?
Android.
That's an Android. Let me get a headphone.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can
If
do.
you put your speaker, are you able to press speaker on your phone? We've learned that helps a little bit.
Speaker. Let's see. No, my volume's all the way up. Let me find a headphone.
That is interesting because Coach Sean said he can hear her fine. So I think other Android users can hear other, you know, Android users, whereas iPhone users are unable to hear the Android users. Huh. That's going to be next week's topic. iPhone or Androids.
iPhone.
I told you that at the first meeting.
I have both. I'm still Team Droid, but for these podcasts, it's definitely Apple definitely works better. Okay, so I think what Koshan said that she repeat what she wrote. She said, yes, they can provide the tools or resources to help you. And she used the example that she can do her own hair, but her stylist does it better. So basically, I'm saying that she's basically, I guess, saying that a therapist just, is just going to provide you those resources that you can help yourself better compared to just trying to do it on your own, especially if you don't know how. That's like the blind leading the blind. That's why I personally, I pray and I also go to therapy. I think I can do both, but I don't feel like it's something that should just not, like in Tank's this situation is something that black men, should never do. They don't need it just because you feel fine. I don't know, and that's your choice. But hey, my healing process is going to therapy and
All right, now you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say we shouldn't. I asked, so what should I tell them? I go to the woman and say, I'm
you
here
said
for
what?
therapy.
You said what? Say that again.
How do I approach it?
You said how do
How
you
do
approach
how does
therapy?
someone approach therapy? Like, yeah, okay. You go to the orthopedic because you have a broken bone. Broken bone.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to say when you go to a therapist or a counselor? I got a broken heart. What?
Yeah, if your heart is broken,
How?
if you're
A
feeling
broken heart, broken
those are
emotions.
feelings. Those are
Yes,
feelings.
broken feelings.
Yes, that's what you go
Absolutely.
talk. That's what therapy is for. Your emotions, to talk
And
about emotions.
it's also for your mental state
Mhm.
too. Let me say this. So I get it. I get the whole just stigma that was placed on it like a long time ago before any of
Mhm.
us were ever born, right? Because black people have historically been made to be strong, and we seem to think that if we're not strong and handling everything and wore down and beat down, that we're not strong. And so the concept of going to therapy to talk through some things is has been labeled and considered weak,
Weak.
right? Which is totally not the case. So it is something that has to be unlearned. That train of thought has to be unlearned, because even now in 2024, if you tell some black people that you're going to therapy, they will look at you like you got three heads. Girl, what's wrong with you? You don't need to go in there and talk to them people. What? Yeah, maybe you should, because you have pushed down so much stuff that you can't even, you think you're functioning, but it's almost just like an alcoholic. Like, you have functional alcoholics, you have functional drug
Meth
addicts,
head.
but right, but there are functionally emotionally disturbed and mentally disturbed people because they have not gone through any sort of process for the trauma that they have been through.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Tank mentioned something about seeing, oh, that's all that they've seen in their lives is men doing XYZ. That
Mm-hmm.
in and of itself is
It's
something that
trauma.
probably needs to be unlearned, because it is a trauma. Because that does not make it okay. Just because you've seen it all your life, just because it's been handed down from generation to generation, those things have to get broken at some point, or you're going to have children who are going to do the same thing.
I mean, that stuff comes from the Bible. Ain't nothing we created. Our community didn't create that.
Then
No, but
create
our
what?
our community our community continues to do it though. Like, we know we didn't create it. We know that there was a slave Bible. We know that the slave masters gave all of it. We know all of that history. We get it. However, in 2024, if you are still not willing to say, I know that that was wrong way back then, so why are we continuing to do that? Therein lies the, because generational bad choices are a real thing. Some of the bad choices that your great great grandparents made, your great great grandparents made, then your grandparents made, then your mama made, then you made, and now your kids gonna make them. And that is all trauma based. And it is very possible for you to have selective amnesia. That is a very real thing, where you really just close out certain parts of yourself from when you were a child or whatever, those painful things that you literally just block out. You block it. You block it. And when you go into therapy and that therapist makes you dig deep
Mm-hmm.
into those dark, dark places that you thought you had gotten over, or those dark, dark places that you thought you had forgotten, that's where the healing starts.
So, in other words, Tank, that's where you would start. That's what you would present to her. It doesn't have to be something that she can see. It's just like I said, it's a conversation.
And I'm gonna pay you to come talk to you. Nah, that's all right.
You said you're going to pay her or him to
Him or
come
her.
and talk to you.
Go talk. Yeah.
Did you pay the college that you went to get your education?
Nah, I gave military 4 years. They paid everything for me.
Okay, so
Okay.
okay, and that's great. But you still made a sacrifice, and there was a payment. You paid with your time, you paid with your body for the military. Nothing goes unpaid. You paid for whatever. It doesn't matter. You're gonna pay for something. So to say, oh, I gotta pay somebody, you pay to go to the doctor. Unless some black men, that's another thing,
They
don't even go
don't.
to the doctor. So if you in
Yeah.
that too, then that's a problem. Because if your mindset is, why would I pay this person to tell me what's wrong with me? Yeah,
You
because
do it all
clearly
the time.
you don't see it.
Yeah.
It's a doctor for your mental health, for your
For your
mind,
mind.
and for your emotions. It's no different. If you got asthma, you have to go to a pulmonologist. If you have cancer, you have to go to an oncologist. You're not just going to sit around and be like, oh, well, some people do. Oh, I just got cancer. I'm going to die anyway. So just, and that's how you want to do it? Cool. But I guarantee you, if you go to the doctor, it's going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. And therapy does the same thing. I ain't never seen or known anybody that will say, I went to therapy and now I'm worse than what I was when I went in there.
Just look at it, Tank, as a mental health doctor, because that's exactly what they are. And I think a lot of your trauma against therapy comes from those relationships that you have when you tell these women that you don't want to be monogamous, and then they tell you that you need a therapist. That's a trauma effect that you need to go speak to that mental health doctor about.
Hey, you all, while there's a
So it's actually
conversation
one that
going on
I'm
with
looking at too.
gender.
He's in Charlotte, and he's a brother because the lifestyle he lives parallels um, a good lifestyle. I think he's polyamorous, not a polygamist. He's polyamorous.
Okay, I know what that is.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Polyamory is, again, that has nothing to do with therapy. That's not a therapy issue.
It,
Polyamory is a lifestyle.
And a
you
choice.
you can you can be full of
you,
trauma and be in practice polyamory, because you know what's gonna happen. Them 2, 3, 4, 5 women that you choosing to be with in this poly relationship gonna get the same broke hurt you. So now, instead of just one person
well,
having to deal with you, now there's
Two,
four.
well,
three.
truthfully, I probably say more than 50% of our community lives a poly lifestyle unknowingly.
Because you said it's natural.
They do.
You said it's natural. And
Monogamy is
but
not
that still
natural.
has nothing to do
Like
with your trauma. That still
like
has nothing. Do you feel like that situation would make you whole
no,
if you was in
I
that
just want one. I
situation?
just want one woman. When I'm ready to settle down, I want one woman. When I'm ready to settle down again, I just want one woman.
But how? You just said being monogamous is not natural. So are you sure you're going to
No,
be able to just
correct.
have?
I
That's what
said
you
it's not
want?
natural. I said when I decide to settle down again, I only want one woman.
Yes, we have a listener to say you're going against nature. You're going against your nature
Exactly.
by
I
being
know that
with one
is.
woman. I was going to say it, but I didn't want to come across combative because I still honestly feel like that is a choice to not be monogamous.
No, it's a
Because
choice.
if it goes back to if it's something
Being
you really like,
monogamy is a choice.
you said it yourself. You said, I want one woman.
Exactly.
Want.
When I settle
So
down,
if you want to
put
be
the whole partner.
monogamous, then you can.
You have to see the whole partner when
Mhm.
I choose to settle down.
Exactly. When you choose. That's my
Exactly when I
point.
choose to.
Choice. Like I said, it's back to
Exactly.
choices. Okay. So
Monogamy is
you
a choice as
choose to
well.
not be monogamous. Don't say it's like this
Monogamy is a choice.
natural, and don't say it can't be
Listen,
done.
there's two mammals on the earth that's monogamous, and humans ain't one of them. You can look that up. You can look that up all day.
It's still a choice. It's still a choice.
Okay,
Which one's the
so
choice?
listen, because it is a choice. Both of y'all are saying the same thing, and both of y'all are right. Monogamy is a taught behavior. That is a fact. There's no
Mhm.
DNA that goes against your nature. We are mammals. There's 3% of mammal species that are monogamous. So that is a fact. You cannot dispute that. That is scientific. It is what it is. Now, monogamy, if you choose to subscribe to that form of lifestyle, that is your choice. But just like anything else, you would need to live in that truth. If your truth in your truth is I want to be monogamous, You have to stick to that. You cannot tell someone, I want to be monogamous, and then 6 months later, you got two, three other people. That is wrong. Stick to that. If you subscribe to polyamory, then stick to that. But if in 6 months now you all in your feelings because you really want to be monogamous, you have that. So in that point, it is a choice, right? Because you have to choose. Now, can you choose to want to do one or the other at different times in your life? Like Tank is saying, maybe right now polyamory is his choice. Maybe 20 years from now, monogamy will be his choice. But that is something that he will have to be honest about with his partner or partners. And he has to be able to be with people who align with those values. If you want to be polyamorous and she want to be monogamous, what y'all doing?
It ain't gonna work.
It's not going to work.
Correct.
So it is a choice in that sense. But in the natural realm of it, it is something that you have to subscribe to because it is not natural. Because as mammals, we have eyes, we have feelings, we have emotions, we feel things. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people can't really combat that. They start having these feelings and they start seeing something that look good to them. It's hard. There's somebody talking real good because it's part of your nature.
And that goes for all of us. As Tank said, women are better cheaters.
Well, and the thing is it shouldn't even, and that I hate that. I hate when people say stuff like that because there should not even be a better or worse cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, if
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a better cheater, you don't need to be in a monogamous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is right there. Period. If you are going to cheat and you know this, why subscribe to
To
monogamy?
monogamy.
Why lie to somebody and tell them that you want to be with them and only them when you know that's a
Stay
lie?
single.
And that
Stay
goes back
single.
to the
Yeah.
topic of our segment, communication. I had to throw that in there. The timing was
Absolutely.
perfect.
It's about right because you have to be honest and communicate that. And back,
Mhm.
like you said, back to the topic. The reason that people do not
Mhm.
communicate that is because it's a fear. If you really like this girl, you really like her, she is 95% of everything you want. But you know good and
Mm-hmm.
darn well you is not about to be faithful to her. You gonna lie because you want your cake and eat it too. And
Mhm.
cake and eat it too, that is the stupidest
Cake and
cliche
Did I
eat
say
it.
that
because you're
last week?
supposed to
The
eat
fear of
the
losing her.
cake. Ah, right. But
But
you're
did y'all
supposed to
know
eat
that
the
the
cake.
phrase is actually the phrase
Listen,
is
Trey
cake and
Songz.
eat it,
Trey Songz.
not cake and eat it? We
Trey
black people have
Songz.
changed it to cake and eat it.
Oh, what is it supposed to
No.
be?
It says he.
No.
It's supposed to be he
Yeah.
wants his
No.
cake, the female
Listen.
cake, and the other female Edith. He wants both of them, Kate
Oh,
and Edith.
cake and
Those are
eat
his
it.
women.
No.
Yeah,
Well, it's the
girl,
same
we've been
thing.
saying
Like,
cake. He wants his
like
cake and
Trey
eat it
Songz
too.
say, ain't that what we supposed to do with cake and ice cream?
What?
Right, exactly. So
Like
even
Trey
if it
Songz say,
is,
ain't
it
that what
just
we supposed
makes
to do
no
with it?
sense. You're
Mhm.
supposed to. Who wants cake then you can't eat, right? That's crazy.
Exactly.
You
God
have to.
damn.
You're gonna want to eat it. So my thing is this, but
Yep.
again, that comes with the honesty. And once you make the conscious decision to lie, you are wrong
I
because
found out.
you're doing it out of your own selfish wants because you got she has 95% of what you want, so to try to keep her you're gonna lie because you love that
Mm-hmm.
95%,
Mhm.
but that
True.
little 5% gonna keep
Yeah.
itching and you gonna keep scratching it, and instead of just telling her, listen, here's what it is, you gonna lie and then you gonna ruin her because she is thinking that she is your one and only, your all in all,
Mhm.
because that's what you lying and telling her, and
Mhm.
then here it's gonna slap her in her face. So
Yep.
again, just be true. It's all about, you have to at some point live in your authenticity. And I think that is one of the hardest things for people to do because society does not make it comfortable to live in your
Absolutely.
authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because the amount of judgment that comes in our society is overwhelming. You know what I mean? If you want to do something that is not within the norm, everybody gonna have something to say and all of this judgment when it shouldn't be that way. We should all be able to just do what makes us happy, whether other people agree with it or not.
Mm-hmm. And that, my friend, is true healing. Take. I had to throw
Oh,
that in
I subscribe to everything she said. I subscribe to everything she said.
there too. Well, I
That's
think
why
Coach
I
Sean
need
has
her to.
something to say. I think he
Man,
has
he
something to
did.
say.
Until he gets an iPhone, he didn't say nothing.
Well, he said once you eat it and you can't still have it, you have to make a choice. He was
Well, the
talking about
point
the
is not
cake.
eating it,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. He's absolutely right. But the thing is, don't eat it, right? Because the eating it in the first place is the choice,
Yeah.
not after. The
Hmm.
eating
Mm.
it in the first place was the
The
choice.
choice.
You came to a fork in the road before you picked up that fork.
Whoa, whoa,
So
whoa.
you did.
This
So
sounds like after
making the
midnight
choice.
talk, after
No,
hours
This
talk.
is at the midnight talk.
but I'm just saying that's what happened. The
Hey,
choice
bring back shit.
came
We all
way
grown folks
before.
here.
Yeah, the choice came way before having to tell her or once she finds out. Nah, you made that choice. And the
That's
crazy
coming
part
too.
is you made the choice for you and her.
Yeah.
And why and how is that fair? Because she's thinking it's one thing, you have made a whole nother choice behind
Hmm.
her back.
Hmm.
So she's thinking she's still on track A and you done switched to track C.
You better preach.
I personally don't like people making choices for me. I want to make my own. If I want to be a part of your harem, let me choose.
Exactly. I agree.
Put it in the back.
If I don't want to be a part of
Put
your
it in the back.
harem, then I
Let
won't.
me go. Let me go.
No, it ain't no. You ain't got
Let,
to let me
let
go.
me
I'm gonna
go.
leave.
Let
No,
me go.
I don't wait. I don't
Some,
wait for nobody
I
to
don't know.
let me
You
go.
know,
I'ma
some
leave.
people are stalkers out there now. And some people don't let you just leave.
Oh well,
Then
listen.
it's
I got a
been,
couple
yeah.
things for that. So no worries about that. But
They're
my
gonna be like,
thing
get back over
is,
here, Dad. Get yourself back over here.
you have to
Yeah,
it just you that honesty part that is the key to everything. Because
it
once
is.
you
I
get to
know.
that line, that line mess your whole life up. I'm telling you, like ain't nothing good gonna come from the lie. Nothing ever.
Mhm.
And you had, and then like I said, those choices. Yeah, you want to hold on to her because she got everything you want, but you want 40 other ones too.
Mhm.
You don't get to make that decision for her.
Absolutely. So the moral of the story, Tank, and all the listeners, it's all about choices. It's all about choices and being accountable for your choices. Would you agree, Tank? I think Tank done muted himself again.
100%.
Okay.
And I choose. No, I'm here. Yeah. I'm going through these woods.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You
Yes.
hear me? Yeah, I'm going through these woods of Allendale. No, yeah, 100%. Everything's a choice.
Absolutely. And you was getting ready to say something. You said, I choose, and then you stopped yourself.
Can we see how many people actually listen?
Can we see how many people are actually listening now?
I'll probably start off.
Well,
I choose to, yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
see 5 live. Is that just us 5, or can you see how many people are listening?
Well, there I know a sweet angel bear 37 joined the room. I don't know if they're still with us or not. There was a Garrick that joined the room. There was a BSCQ. I have no idea what that is. Joined the room. We have Viking Descent. We have Wood and Bush. I know that Tavana, welcomed them earlier, but I don't know. I can't tell if these people are still with us or not. Like, Coach Sean, can you kind of tell us where we are as far as time? I think he's on mute. If you can text it or
It's 6:26, so I
yeah, that's what
think
I'm saying. I think
we
we have like
winding
4 minutes
down
left.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you a little bit.
Yeah. So I've been listening.
I enjoy this uh, dialogue that you all been having with Tank, and I'm still on the part about healing, right? So I have a little dilemma because it seems like some of us have a definition of what healing looks like to us, and I don't think that it'll be the same to everyone. And when we think about human growth and development, life's experiences mold us, right? So if I take an experience and view it as a tool that molded me, or an experience as a learning process, I may not, and I think Tank is viewing it like this is nothing that I need to heal from. You know, it's like, hey, I missed the bus one day, right? So I learned from that experience. It wasn't traumatic. I don't have a panic attack when I see a bus. It was a learning process. I knew that, you know what? If I know I have to be somewhere, I don't need to be playing with other kids, or I need to be playing somewhere where I can see my bus, right? I've learned from that experience. The same thing with things that we've experienced in relationships. Hey, I had someone that lied and said someone was a cousin, wasn't, they were sleeping together. Hey, I'm not, I don't think that I experienced trauma from that. It's just that now I'm going to be more skeptical, right? When someone tells me what the relationship is between them and someone else. I can choose to say, you know what? I'll just trust whatever she says. If she's a liar too, so be it. Or, hey, look, I had a girl that lied to me about that. So unless there's somebody that's going to be at your family reunions or others in your family associate with them, I kind of don't fall for all that family stuff. I'm not a jealous person. You can talk to whoever, but does that make me um, damaged goods or not good for someone else or ready to move into another relationship? So I think that's something that we would have to have definitive lines on when it comes to um, who's broken, who needs to be healed, who needs to go to therapy, and why. Because I mean, the therapist makes money, so they're always going to invite you. And I'm not saying that they aren't needed. I like what you all said about them helping you to digest what you're going through, right? Help you to develop coping skills. Help, just talk about, hey, breathe before you react. Um, be clear. And I like what you said, Tavana, about giving that person the choice. And again, people lie out of fear. You know, it'd be an ideal world where we can say, hey, I really want to have sex with you, but I want to have sex with others also. I don't have anybody in mind. I just know that when the opportunity presents itself, I want to be available. But a lot of people are afraid that they will lose the partner that they're talking to. And they're also afraid that the person might say, well, okay, that's cool. We're going to have sex with others. And they don't want that person to do that. And ties back to however you want to say it. They want to have the cake and eat it too, or your Kate and Edith too, right? So until we get mature enough to get beyond the lying phase, or being willing to accept and deal with whatever comes out of it, we're gonna have people lying and being deceitful. But that's my time.
And Coach Sean, I agree with you. You just as people, I think the two examples that you gave though are kind of different. Missing the bus and someone hurting you in relationship is very, very different. Because missing the bus, you're right. You're gonna just make sure you don't miss the bus anymore. But to be in another relationship after being hurt, there has to be some healing, or there is going to be some residuals that come into that other relationship. So that's very different than, oh, I just missed the bus. So, and that's what we were trying to get to, is that the other person, the new person, should not have to deal with your issue that you had in that other relationship. They should not have to pay for that. You should not have to, like, and you said it yourself. You're, because of what you might have gone through, you might tell that person, oh, well, hey, I dealt with that before. So unless this person is your family or whatever, it's going to be a no. Well, why is that fair? Because this actual person actually might have someone in their life that is only just like family, but you're going to put that stipulation on them because of your past hurt.
Well, it won't stop anything. I'm just letting them know that, hey, you don't have to keep reiterating. You don't have to try to convince me because I'm going to think what I'm going to think. It's not going to stop me from going 100% in a relationship, right? And I'm going to give a hypothetical example, right? So I know a guy that slept with a young lady in a mall, right? Her husband was in the mall. She was going out to surprise him with a gift. She met her jump off. They got it on in the dressing room and parted ways. She went back with her husband, right? But it was just something, it didn't traumatize him. I think he wasn't the one being cheated on, but he was conscious and knew that, hey, you know what? This too can happen to me. But he explained to other women that, hey, I've seen this, I've been in these positions, I know what exists. But if I'm going to take a chance to be with you, I want to be with you. But I also keep in the back of my mind that these things can happen. So some men can really walk away from breakups. Some men can really walk away from divorce because I think after life experiences, and call it broken, call it unhealed, I think that men take a business approach to relationships after a certain time or after going through so many things. It's like, look, here are my expectations. These are the things that I'm willing to do. As long as you hold your end of the bargain, I'll hold mine. Now, when you deviate from that, hey, I look at it like betrayal from a homeboy, like you run against your word. We no longer look at it as heartbreak because in the back of our minds, we kind of expected that, or we not shocked that it happened, I should say. I'm done.
We'll continue. We'll leave on that note and we'll pick up on that note next week. Because we do have, yeah, I think I would have some feedback to the examples that you used. So I think that's a great stopping point.
So it's been an
No, it's
hour.
been an hour and a half.
No, we were on recording before we went live.
Oh.
I wish it was time
Oh
for
no,
me.
I thought you had the timer going. I was wondering where we were.
No, the timer begins once we come on, but I wasn't recording the beginning. I sent a message when I started
Okay.
recording.
Well, it's still 6:34. So we've been on like a,
So all together, I think we've probably been recording for like an hour. We've been on for an hour 31 minutes. So I think we may have been recording for like an hour. If you all want to shut it down, we can. Well, I'll stop recording. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank our listeners, thank our panel, and everyone else. We're about
Emotional about,
Mhm.
and and then there are some things that I can do with complete logic and analytics, right? And so I think that's just it's situational.
It
And
is.
there are some things that, I do believe in, like certain gender roles and certain, you know what I'm saying? I do believe in that. But then I'm also a person that believes in certain levels of equality. You see what I'm saying? So I don't
Absolutely.
think that you should be boxed into one specific stereotype. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I'm definitely not just an emotional thinker. Trust me. I think it, like you said, it depends on the topic. When I was looking it up, I was just doing a little self evaluation, and I was trying to figure out what type of communicator am I. There are like four types of communicator. You have your passive, you have your aggressive, you have your passive aggressive, and then you have your assertive. So I felt like they need to come up with another category to describe me because I can be each one of those things depending on who I'm having a conversation with. So like Tank said, he said, oh, you're an emotional thinker. On some subjects, I am an emotional thinker. On some subjects, I'm a very, very aggressive thinker. I try not to be so aggressive because they, like you said, they label that. If I'm aggressive, they're going to say, oh, you're acting like a man or you're displaying your masculine traits. But you know what? I wouldn't, if I wasn't human, I wouldn't have testosterone and estrogen in my body. So I'm allowed to be aggressive if that's what I choose to do. I'm allowed to be a passive if that's what I choose to do. If I can be emotional if that's what I choose to do, because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm human and I'm okay with that. And that's just something like you don't. I went to therapy to learn how to get to this point because I wasn't always this point. I was very, very passive in my last relationship. As a child, I was very obedient and passive. I was a people pleaser. But as I grew older, I would really honestly classify myself as a passive aggressive person. So if I had to describe myself, that's pretty much who I am. I'm just trying to follow these rules. Defamatory, harassing, obscene, or racist content is being prohibited. So I have to be very mindful with what I say on this podcast here. Yes. So with that being said, people, I actually have an engagement
One more.
to attend
65.
to. Huh?
That's it.
What'd you say, Tate?
No, no, I told you.
Yes, you did. So I have
No,
an
I told you.
engagement. So we have like 5 minutes. I have to meet some folks. And this has been a very informative meeting today. Have we stopped recording, Coach Sean?
Yeah, you already stopped recording.
Oh, you good. Okay, so now I can say what the hell I want to say. So, yeah, absolutely.
What you want to say?
What